Yeah, we are on the first and only interview segment this morning, and our guest, like we told you, is none other than the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Yinka Oyebode. First and foremost, well, I must say, is a man who really needs no introduction, but I just want to comment on the manner of man he is. You do know that when you talk about the Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. John Kadi Fayemi, he has come a long way with the Governor as his media aide, and that talks about professionalism, commitment to duty, and all the good qualifiers you can imagine. Well, he's in the studio with us this morning, and we are very, very happy to have him. Let me quickly introduce him and welcome him. Thank you so much for joining us on Lyric Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure to have you. We've not had you for a while, but here you are this morning, so I guess we're very lucky.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well,
Good morning,
I'm here.
viewers at home.
I'm here, and so is Kemi. So together, we'll be taking you on for the next 45 minutes or thereabouts.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, and you're welcome. Now, the governor was here yesterday on his media chat, and he spoke quite extensively about a lot of things. But before he came, we had these sort of rumors on the social media about this Ruga settlement, and I'm sure the governor explained himself about his position about the Ruga settlement. What do you have to say about that?
Well, sorry, before you respond, the scary part of it is that Mr. Governor was being painted as a Fulani
apologist.
You know,
Yes. So
what's really very, very scary.
What do you have to say about that?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me again. Really, frankly speaking, the governor was there yesterday. Even before he came here, he had visited the family, the bereaved family in Ekiti, where it was reported that a headsman killed a hunter and things like that. And there he restated his position on the issue of land. And what he said with all emphasis is that the issue of Ruga, when it was mooted, it wasn't even a product of the Governors Forum. It was the federal government initiative, and only 12 states indicated, so which means it's optional. And the 12 states that indicated interest in it, in having it in their domain, are purely northern states. So it's optional.
It is their way of life. Actually.
Yeah, so he emphatically told them that nobody has contacted him over any land, and he is the one that has the final authority on lands in Ekiti as the governor of the state, and that he is not ready to cede an inch of Ekiti land to outsiders. It's all over the media today.
Yes, it is.
All over the media today. But you know, the problem about opposition is that the opposition is Nigeria is a bit mischievous. Now, if they cannot battle you with brilliance, they try to battle with bullshit. So what they do essentially is that they don't really have anything.
Just you down.
Keep something, just put something on the table. And you know, unfortunately, because of the social media now age that we have, that such news items do not go through the process of verification. So you just post it on your WhatsApp or post it on your
as long
Facebook.
as you have an Android phone.
And it's all over there. Yeah. And even the most educated of Nigerians start romanticizing with it.
Exactly.
Start romanticizing, start analyzing, start calling you to expatiate on it.
Is it true?
But a little probing further, we put a light to the whole thing. If you look at it, some people have said Ruga is the size of a local government, and that each state is going to have 6. Pray, how are you going to create additional new 6 local government in a state like Ekiti State? Where is the land?
We don't have enough land.
Okay, so, but the fact is that the governor said it, and it's clear that nobody has approached him, and he's not giving any land to any.
Well, that is that, Mr. Ibodi. You know, Mr. Governor, in recent times, his profile has risen, you know, in leaps and bounds. He seems to be a man of the people all over the country right now. Talk about his ascension to being chairman of the Governors Forum and all that. Well, I now want to ask you, what does it feel like working with a person like Mr. Governor? Is he high octane level or, you know, sedate, ultra conservative? One wonders really, because he doesn't talk much. He hardly even talks, unlike some people, you know, that we know.
It's such an interesting thing working with Governor Kadi Fayemi. He talks less, but acts more.
Okay.
So most often, as somebody who has worked closely with him, I've learned to observe him. And I know he deals with deliveries, he deals with results. If he gives you a task, he expects you to use your initiative
and get it done.
And when you come back and say, this is and that, the question is, okay, that's why I gave you the task. I gave you the task to solve the riddle, bring the result. Especially the result that's going to be impactful to the people. So he doesn't expect you to come back and give excuses. one good thing about him is that when he gives you the assignment, he gives you the tools and the resources
to get the job
done. So you have no excuse coming back. And the same thing he applies to his approach to governance. When he's coming up with a policy, as he's drawing up the policy, he's drawing up how to source the fund. He's drawing up the professionals that will be needed to actualize it. He's drawing up so any other thing that probably, as he's giving the task, as he's coming up with a policy, he doesn't give out a policy or issue a policy statement, then go back and sleep and begin to think about implementing it.
Back it up, okay.
What back up? No. At the point of conceptualizing the policy, he's already conceptualizing how to fund it, and that's why you see most of the steps he's taking are always very accurate. If he's talking about, by the time it comes about, okay, we're going to have 4 additional secondary schools in Ekiti because of the overpopulation in some of the public schools there, he already had it cast. Okay, these schools, let's name them after some of our icons because of their contribution to the state. And if you look at the 4 people that these names were named after, they are people of nobility who have contributed and people that we can really be proud of. And this is another way of telling the coming generation that, look, if you do well,
you will be remembered.
You'll be remembered.
Okay.
And you're not going to be remembered by the amount of money you're able to stash in the account, but about the value, about the impact you make in the people's life. So these 4 people, now in their 80s, are now being remembered to serve as a lesson, to encourage younger generation to keep their eye on the ball and to live a glorious life and leave a legacy of name and honor.
Okay, now talking about, shall I just spoke something about how you've been able to work with the governor, the personality. I'm going to ask about the personality of the governor now. You worked with him, you're very close to him.
Yeah.
It was misconstrued that, he seems a bit arrogant and things like that. That was unreachable. He won't talk to you. He
very haughty,
things like that, especially during the last tenure. Would you say that is because from what we are seeing now, I think that's a different perspective of him that we're seeing, but why was that? Why do you think, would this attribute that to the opposition as well?
Let me tell you something. One of the things that I've seen, and maybe I'm not a psychologist, but things that I've seen in people is that if a gentleman by nature, you don't talk too much, you're not garrulous, there's standing for them to read ministry that you're probably arrogant. There's not everybody that has to be garrulous, and I don't think you have to be garrulous to be in politics. You have to be a clown to be noted in politics. And like people say, empty barrel makes the biggest noise. So when you have somebody that has something upstairs, he's a thinker, he's a strategist. Most times you see him in his car, he has about 3-4 books there. From Government House to this place yesterday, he will have read 1 or 2 chapters. I know readers are leaders. Readers are actually thinkers and they are leaders. So that's the kind of person. He reads a lot. He thinks a lot. He strategizes a lot. Yeah. So he doesn't have that much time, that free time to socialize in the real sense of it. Okay. But in terms of personality, he has a very good heart. Okay? He jokes when it's necessary. The only thing that is a very serious-minded fellow. And pray, the business of governance is a serious business.
Yes,
so you can't be joking all the time. But the beauty of it is a man that could be touched with your feelings. Very humane, very compassionate. If you look at it, and that's a reflection of some of the things that he does, his programs are a product of careful planning, careful thinking, and act of compassion.
Okay, that is humane.
It is compassion that will make a leader to come and day one, and within 48 hours, the first thing is tackled was the issue of education. Taxes being paid by children in primary nursery schools, cancel it. The second thing they did was, okay, teachers, you have been working, we cannot be taking care of our students without taking care of the teachers. Okay, take this package for your car and housing loan. In terms of compassion. Now he's thinking, even though the resources of the state is dwindling, but already he's thinking about, okay, do what good that we did at that time. Made an appreciable impact on the life of our elderly citizens.
That it should be brought back.
Let's bring it back. Not because there is money anywhere, but the little we have, if we can appropriate it properly, if we can be prudent in its management, we can touch different segments, we can touch different lives. And
yes,
he's a compassionate leader.
One area I'd like to comment about now is the fact that Mr. Governor, his personality too, seems to be attracting capital projects from all over. You begin to wonder, is this the same Ekiti? You see the World Bank water-assisted project, rather the World Bank assisted water project, the approach it made to the African Development Bank in Cote d'Ivoire, a lot of donor agencies coming back, DFID and what have you. So you wonder, is it this the same Ekiti state that we are? Because all of a sudden, you begin to see the prospects and opportunities, open to us, the other people.
Yeah, like they say, leadership is everything. And if a leader and you are noted for your sincerity of purpose and you are noted for your high level of integrity, you attract people. You attract institutions. Institutions will respect you. So I think the good thing about Ekiti State this time around is that we have a leader, a governor who is well respected across the nation, across the globe. So, and because he's respected as a man of intellect, as a man who has a penchant for development, and as a man who has great penchant for due process. So anywhere he goes, they listen to him. Any proposal he brings out, they know it's not out of transactional mindset. He has a transformational mindset. That, okay, I've made this state in this particular state. I should be able, within the period allotted to me, to take it to a particular level. And he goes to work about it. So he's believable. When he talks with all sincerity, and he backs his facts. He backs his talks with facts. That, okay, this is what we want to do, and when we do this, this is where we intend to be in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 30 years. When we went to the African Development Bank, he went with there with a 30-year plan.
What?
That, okay,
for Ekiti State?
Yeah, we should be able to. Ekiti should be in that particular place within the next 4 years. And we need the next 30 years. This is what I envision. Definitely, he's not going to be here in the next 30 years to be the governor, but you can lay the foundation. You can put it structure in place to say, okay, after you have achieved this 1, 2, 3, 4, then the next stage is this 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's how planning should be done. The short term, the mid term, and the long term. So some of the things that have been put on the table, some will be short term, some will be delivered mid-term, some delivered at the long term. So it's about planning. And when international organizations, donor agencies, development partners see that sincerity and that accurate planning, let me tell you one of the major remarks at the AFDB meeting was that the president of ADB commended the government that you came here with a well thought out plan. Almost all the things you put on the table is attractive to us. Wow. Almost all. But we just have to prioritize. And that's why they prioritize and they opted for 4. Almost all. That this is the first time. I know ADB usually deal with national government. So now they're trying to deal with subnational. Okay. And the state is one of the few states that has subnational government that's taking advantage, because we have a proactive leader, a forward-thinking leader who knows that, look, resources are not ever going to be sufficient to do anything. Even as individual in our individual homes, we hardly ever have sufficient funds to do all that we want to do, and it's part of the principle of economics.
Yes, one cannot but appreciate the kind of appreciation and how should I say, acceptance that the plan got from the AFDB. But I just want to ask out of curiosity, how was it conceived? Because right here on this program, some people were insinuating that governments are comfortable with consultants and don't make do with resources within. What if you have a 30-year plan? I'm just wondering how much of Ekiti brain went into the planning of that plan, or was it contracted out?
No. Give something to Ekiti State. We are one of the best brains in the world. Give it to them. Go to major hospitals in UK and US. You see Nigerians there, but break it down. Look at the percentage of Ekiti doctors that are there. Go to develop several other countries, Europe, everywhere. So give it to Ekiti State. We have very good brains. And one good thing about Dr. Fahimi is that I've been able to assemble some very good brains together. Dr. Fahimi can spot talent far off. He can spot talent, and when he spots you as a talent, he goes after you. And that's why I can confidently tell you there are so many people in this team, in his current team, who have exposures, even in development activities, who have worked with international organization,
Okay.
an organization. I know of a lady that is joining the team who is coming from DFID. Some from different organizations. I know of a young man who, until his recent appointment as special advisor on investment, I'm talking about, is my namesake, Oyebode is his name, Oyebode Jr.,
Okay.
who was sitting over a 25 billion project for Lagos State then, until March this year when I was approached to come here as an Ekiti man. So we have so many brains like that. So when we're packing things like that, you bring everybody on board. Everybody contribute his own bit to it, because we're talking about proposal that involves infrastructure development, that involve agri processing zone and things like that. So you bring your experts in those fields
Now bringing
to put in their ideas, and you as a team leader, you're also a man of idea, a man of great intellect who have had exposures, who have experiences working in different international partners. You bring your own ideas on the table, and through cross-fertilization of ideas, you come with an excellent proposal that nobody can fault.
now, is that part of the 5 cardinal programs? Because there's something about
All
the knowledge, so
all the proposal.
bringing people in, has that got to do with the knowledge?
No. Knowledge economy or knowledge zone that we're talking about is also to ensure that we take advantage of the endowment God has given to us. I don't know why God endowed us with so much intellect, but we are seen as people of intellect. Okay? Now it is about bringing about the lost glory, which is almost fading. Okay, let's bring it back on board, and let's actually make a capital gain out of it. They cannot be saying that this is a land of professor, this is a land where every household has a PhD or whatever and things like that. To what advantage are we making use of this? It's good to say every ambulance has a professor and every family has a PhD holder, but how does it translate to development to us as a state? How do we tap these brains? How do we create our own economy around it? Some other nations of the world created their own knowledge zone hubs where you say, okay, this area is noted for this. Maybe ICT, maybe this and that. All of them have it. So we are going to create our own and say, okay, let's bring our brains back. Let's also make a capital gain of this, our intellectual disposition.
Well, CPS, my next question has to do with the people, the masses, and it's two-pronged. One is the issue of unemployment. The other one is the issue of recourse to how should I say, technical education as a solution to the employment of a thing. If you're reading the mind of Mr. Governor, do you think this is going to work in a state like Ekiti? Because just before you came on the program this morning, you were saying that the average Ekiti youth doesn't want to engage his hands, doesn't want to do anything physical, and all that. So if it were to be a people who have that kind of mindset, it could be a shortcut. But we're looking at it holistically. What do you think is likely to happen?
Like I said earlier on, everything is also about leadership. It's also about planning. Okay, when you talk about mindset, of course, an average young person who goes to school, we one day imagine that he will come out and wear suit and tie, and be
White
doing
collar job.
big garama behind the shed somewhere. But also, there's also the need to look at the current trends now. Now, the current trends in the society now is that I see young graduates, ladies, and they tell you I'm into makeup.
Oh, yeah.
And they're really making good capital out of
I have
it.
a salon.
Sometimes I have a salon. I'm a photographer. Way back, photography is for the dropouts. Today, photographers are making big money. To do a photo book, I know how much it costs. To do a photo shoot for bad, everybody does photo shoot for their bodies now. Everybody does photo shoot for their marriage, wedding ceremonies, and things like that. So photography has become a money-spinning venture now.
Yeah.
That graduates, even with master's degree, would say, look, I put down my master's degree certificate. And what is certificate? Essentially, certificate is to give you the intellectual backup to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So it does not really matter if I want to be a carpenter and I have a BSc biochemistry or whatever. What my BSc should do for me is to make me a better carpenter than my peer who never went beyond primary 6. So if I choose to be a photographer, for instance, my certificate is to make me a better photographer. It's for me to be able to conceive better ideas, to edit my photo properly, to be able to use current modern effects to get better photography out, much more than what the other guy who never went beyond primary 6 will do. And then when we're doing project proposal, I should have an edge.
It should reflect.
It should reflect. When I'm doing my proposal, what I would charge 100,000 for as an educated photographer, the barely educated one may be charging 10,000. So at the end of the day, you see the patronage. So when we're talking about technical education, what we're trying to say essentially is that it's the current trend, the global dimension. Now, I've seen people drop their degree, then embrace ICT. The person that built the state website read medicine, but he told me that he found more fulfillment building websites, and he started learning website building in his MBBS class. That's like level 300 to 400. Started learning it, and by the time he graduated, he was an expert in website building, construction. So he was the same person, Dr. Anderson, who built Ekiti State website, www.ekitistate.gov.ng. He's a medical doctor in a Breeze ICT.
Okay. Let's now talk about.
So what the governor, let me finalize that. What the governor is trying to do is that, okay, fine, it's good to be educated, but let's look at vocation also, so that you are equipped, and that's why he's spending so much to upgrade the standard of this technical college. We just got $3 million to upgrade 3 additional technical colleges across each of the
$3 million
across each of the central zones.
So we have one in Ado.
The one in Ado is fixed already.
Fixed.
So we're just going to fix one in each of the 3 central. And you recall that the one in Ado, the funding for it was access during Dr. Defayemi's first term and workers' time. So you can imagine the standard of what we have in Ado now, if it can be replicated in
so many
3 other ones.
Wow.
So there will be attraction. It is the way people package vocational education that makes you look at this just for the dropouts. If it's properly packaged, who says a guy cannot even go back there and learn one of those things? Who says a child cannot wake up and say, okay, after my school start, I want to be a painter, but I want to learn in a very proper manner so that I can compete. So if you do 3 years learning painting, and the other chap, your colleague on the street, chooses to go to university or polytechnic to study something, the most important thing is that, do you find fulfillment after your graduation, what you do? Are you okay competing? It is because the society has been able to place those white-collar jobs above vocational training. Yeah. Elsewhere, it is vocational. In the UK, your plumber will probably earn better than a lecturer, because the plumber is skilled in his way. So when you invite him to come to your house, he tells you, please, this is your deposit. He has not even seen
you even have to
the
pay
job
call
already.
out for calling him out. You have to pay.
Then he gets it, they look at it, okay, put this amount
and all that.
So
Okay,
that's where the world is turning to.
I was going to take you back to the Côte d'Ivoire, where you went. You were on the entourage of of Mr. Governor, and basically, I'm sure Ekiti will benefit a lot from that meeting. But a lot of people just know about the Ado Akure road. What else do we stand to gain?
Okay, like I said, a lot of proposals were submitted, and before that meeting, you talked about planning. Before we embark on that trip, apart from the in-house brainstorming sessions that I've gone into it, proposing, looking at the cost implication and several other things, because you do want to also get there, and when you are in the process of evaluation, you get stuck. So we did our due diligence. There was a meeting with the Nigeria office of ADB.
Okay.
It was a meeting.
That was before you left.
Before, yeah.
Okay.
So, we also got their input into it. So when we went for the meeting, and it was a high-level meeting, because apart from the president, the most senior vice president was in attendance. Then 2 other vice presidents were in attendance, and several directors and country representatives that were there, including the former country representative to Nigeria and the current. So you can imagine it was a serious thing. If they could bring your former country representative and the current country representative to be on board of the meeting, so that you can ask questions, pertinent questions, and make input to it. At the end of the day, 4 areas were chosen. The Ado Ekiti Akure road that I talked about, which to fix comprehensively construction. Then the knowledge economy, which they are planning to fund also. Then the agri-processing. Then the Ado Ekiti airport project.
Okay.
Now, all of them are interwoven, interlinked one way or the other. When you're looking at the knowledge zone, The area that is proposed for the knowledge zone is the axis around Afebaola University, Federal Poly,
Okay.
which is already, you already have two institutions there already.
Institutions there, yeah, okay.
So it's a zone, you're going to put the zone there. That axis also is going to house the airport. The proposed airport is also in that axis. So we're looking at Afebaola is expanding every day. And its reputation is growing every day. Now, you have a university there, private university, you're also having
Federal Polytechnic.
Federal Polytechnic there. And not too far, within the same Ekiti, you also have a state-owned university. Now you are going to have an airport there, which is going to also play some significant roles in terms of enhancing people who come to Afebaola for medical tourism.
Okay.
Afebaola is becoming a fast video reputation and medical service center. You're building infrastructure to support them. You're also building infrastructure to support the various schools and the zone. So people can travel easily. And the airport that has been proposed is a cargo airport.
So we can be
Because people have been, I've had a lot of people say, we need an airport. It's a cargo airport.
Okay.
That is to help our agri business.
Okay. To get to places
Because
faster.
don't forget, another point that's been proposed is the agri-processing zone. And under the 5 pillars of the administration, agriculture and infrastructure development is key. So we're looking at agriculture zone, processing zone. So when we're talking about comprehensive agri-business, you're bringing in your WICA, you're bringing foreign partners to partner with you, government support to bring it, to make Ekiti State a food basket.
Okay.
Then you should be thinking about exportation.
Moving the food out.
And since you're thinking about commercial, why not do a cargo that will enhance that? So that people can even dump, neighboring state can even come and dump there
To move it out.
to move it out.
From this area.
Interestingly,
well,
nobody seems to have a cargo airport around this axis. I'm sure none in this southwest state. So if you're building it, you can know that there will be patronage from various neighboring states to dump their things there. It will enhance our own. So people, farmers will know that their product will be off-taken. And once farmers know that their product, there is a market for your product, they will do more.
They'll farm more.
The reason why people are not finding more is that they bring in the product and nobody
Nobody
buys.
buys.
And it perishes.
Yes.
And you sell your corn 10 for 100 naira. Meanwhile, if there are people that will take it, you sell at better prices and you make better money, and agriculture will become more attractive because we're trying to build millionaires who are into agribusiness. So all these things are interlinked. Then the road is also to be able to expose us. We are landlocked. To expose us to outer world. And you know, Ado-Akure road is very, very strategic to us.
Very major.
You know that many civil servants, many people in Ekiti State are living in Akure,
Oh, yes.
committing to Ado-Ekiti every day to do business or to work. So it is to open it up and link us with the other world. In addition to fixing several other roads, don't forget the ring road is also there. If you just kick-started with the Ado-Ekiti in your road.
Yes, the new
That is the first leg of the ring road that the government is planning.
Okay.
Very soon, if you have no business coming through in Yaramoko Egede, you can just come in from Efon and find your way to Ado-Ekiti.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're
Well,
building
I was
something.
going to ask you because it seems to be a brewing storm. The issue of the new national minimum wage. I do recall that Mr. Governor was one of the first governors to say, "Oh, his government will pay." But let's face reality now. Ekiti State has no money. He did promise to clear the backlog of salary arrears when he came on board through no fault of what he met on ground. Well, the years have gone now. I just want to ask you the true position of things because he did give his word that he will pay. But how feasible is this? Because now we're being threatened with a nationwide strike. And of course, the Ekiti people don't really like doing things like that. Don't forget the fact though, that this is basically a civil service state too, aside from agriculture.
Okay, let me say it this way. If we're talking about minimum wage, and you will recall that at the wake of that minimum wage, even the state government said they're going to look inward and look at what's to be done. Whatever they come out with, trust the government. It will do it.
It will be a good thing.
It will do it.
Okay.
And various things. The government is also putting certain things in place. You recall the government is also making some agitation. If you ask me to increase this, how do we go about it? Are you increasing this? Are we doing that? And there will be so many things that will go into that. They will work it out. Trust me, when the last minimum wage was done, during its first time, he increased it. It was the first, and even went above the minimum wage.
True.
Now, the governor recently emerged as the chairman of the Governors Forum, and a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, he won't spend much time in Ekiti. Although the governor has said that won't be the case, but from what we see, most times he's out of Ekiti. Will that give him more time to spend in Ekiti?
It is not.
Is it not time consuming?
Well, even the business of governance, without being the chairman of Governors Forum, you can't be a governor and get stuck in the same.
It's not a joke.
You interface.
But that shouldn't.
Like you're talking about getting a massive support from international organization. They're not going to come all the way from Abidjan or from Abuja to come and meet you here. Occasionally they'll come, but many of the time you also go out. There's what we call peer review. A lot of things go into governance. Mr. Gordon disclosed here yesterday that even though there was a security summit in Ibadan last week, but what the media saw was the first day of the meeting.
And that was
summit,
it.
and that was it.
He actually
But the
chastised
governors
media.
went back and locked themselves up for another 2 days.
Nobody heard it.
Working with strategists, working with experts, and that's not known. So if you did not see your governor on the street of Ekiti, the question is,
where is he? What is it?
I guess
where
because
he
I guess because
is he working for your interest?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And will the outcome be positive? Will it bring development? Will it bring prosperity to you? So if a governor leaves Ekiti and is in Ibadan for a day summit, and then about 2 days thereafter, he had to go back again to brainstorm with his peers, governor from other neighbors, and say, don't forget, this security issue we're talking about, no single state can fight the battle all alone. You need the cooperation and collaboration of various organizations of your neighboring states. Okay? So if the governor, 6 of the Southwest governor went back 2 days again, Lord and said, well, the question is that they must be doing something that have great impact. They're going to bring value to the state. So we should be focused more on what does this bring to the table at the end of the day. A governor can sit down here in his office comfortably. That's the most comfortable to be, trust me. Can be there. But when he takes on that hardened responsibility of saying, look, let me go here. I learned if I meet this person, he can help me fix this. Let me say this. One of the good news about this partnership with ADB is that the support we're getting is both, some will come in form of grants.
Okay.
Hey, you don't get down, sit down in your office and just blow in AC to your head.
And then work
You
hard.
go out, you package yourself and meet up with people. You cannot be a governor in a federated state and also interface with Abuja. You must go to Abuja. Forget the era where some governor will tell you you have no business. And that's why the state suffered tremendously. Because you cannot be an island to yourself. You're a state within a federation, 36 states federating. So you cannot, if they say there is a meeting where to discuss
And you don't go there.
agricultural chain value, and if you don't get there, they will do the meeting in your absence. They will allocate resources. They will allocate support and assistance, and you'll be neglected. And that's why the school feeding program eluded Ekiti State for 4 years.
4 years.
It is the coming of the Okari Fire that brought about school feeding. The school feeding program was there for anybody to pick. The support the federal government has given to states like Lagos and Kebbi State and some northern states, Taraba State and so on, is massive. But you have a governor then who never interfaces with the federal and the state back here. And despite the fact that we are noted more for agriculture, we didn't benefit from it. Today, Kebbi State has made tremendous impact in terms of agriculture, in terms of rice business. It has gotten massive support from CBN, massive support from Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and we didn't get anything. Now, today, go and check records. There are no cases of kidnapping in Kebbi State. Why?
Because they're busy.
The youth are everybody's looking for land to cultivate rice. Because you cultivate your rice, take it to a factory to be off taking.
They bite off you.
They bite off you, so you have money. It is the idle mind that becomes the workshop for the devil.
Yes, the CPS. Let's talk about something else. The government's focus on revamping tertiary education. Some achievements were recorded. For instance, the full accreditation gotten by the College of Medicine, and the fact that attention is being paid to the state-owned university to really turn some things around. Would you like to shed light on that? Because all of a sudden people are running from
people are focusing more,
putting their certificates together, trying to explain when they came on the job,
people are
how many years
focusing,
they've spent, and so many things.
People are focusing
People are scared.
People are focusing on the accreditation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good news. But even another good news is that the School of Nursing and the School of Midwifery in Ekiti State recorded 100% success in their last examination.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic.
So there is a huge investment in human capital development. There's a huge investment in education to secure the future of the state. Can you imagine as a parent, your ward is in a course that normally should take like 6 to 7 years and is in a 10th year there? Will you be happy?
No.
I'm sure those medical students will have been frustrated. But thank God the governor comes in and feel, no, this is not going to happen. How can a child be in a college for 9, 10 years and there's no hope of graduating? Because if the college is not accredited, you can't graduate. So when he went to work, and within how many weeks? And this is not rocket science. There are laid down procedure to achieving accreditation, full accreditation. You have to have this. You have to have this particular standard. You have to have this particular standard and things like that. And that's all. And that's what a government is supposed to provide solution, to provide support, to lead. So Dr. Ifeanyi came in and reviewed the situation. Okay, you need this. Take this. We need to upgrade this. Okay.
Yes, the
We need to do
the
this.
college.
Now, we have full accreditation. Very soon, those guys will write their examination.
Yeah.
They will graduate the first set of doctors.
Yeah, in Ekiti.
50 of them. And the governor has even
That's
told them he will employ all of them if they are willing to work in Ekiti State. Which means there is even a gap in our medical personnel. And he's ready to take advantage of these students. Okay, you are graduating, and because you have schooled here nothing less than 10 years, you understand our peculiarity, you understand the environment factor, let me employ you. As many of you that are willing to work in Ekiti State, we will employ you. And that is an incentive both to the students there and to the faculty members.
Now, when you were talking earlier, you said something about the school feeding, which eluded us for like 4 years because we did not participate. Yesterday, during the media chat, a woman called and asked for it to be extended to primary 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And well, the governor said even if they have to do it, it might be just in Ekiti. How feasible do you think that is?
No, the governor has spoken about that. You know what he meant is that this school feeding program is a federal government initiative and there are procedures. But trust the governor. I told you he's a compassionate leader. Even before that woman made that question, prior to the launch of that program, he has thought about it. Now, primary 1 to 3. What about primary 4 to 6?
Exactly.
Some bad
Because primary 4 to 6 also, maybe some of them age 7, 9 to 10. They are still kids. Now I wish we have more money. And they say, okay, let's start this. And that was what he told them. Okay, start with what you have. Let's see the possibility of expansion. But this expansion, because it's a federal government initiative, we may not be able to feed it into that budget. Maybe we'll create our own separate budget and say, okay, look, it's up proposal, it's up possibility. That, okay, let somebody go to town, do the cost implication of that, and let's see how that can be factored in. But you know, government is also about planning. It's also about budgeting.
It's not something you
want to tap into middle of the year, but it's a proposal, and it's because of his good heart. Look at that. Okay, imagine yourself that, I'm in primary 4, and my guy is primary 3 and is having a good lunch. I would like to have it, and he's really thinking about it. And trust me, it's something that can be done. And I'm sure because he has a mind on it. The way he's thinking has even given it an October date to revive Uwarubo.
Okay.
He has given October date. Come October, we should be able to have it back. Look at the time he went to Ikogosi also. And he saw Ikogosi, met Ikogosi in ruins. He was so panicked. And he said something. He said, he went to Gosi Water. Gosi Water had gone. He said, Gosi Water will come back within a year. Gosi Water came back within 8 months. Now you have Gosi Water in your table. Ikogosi said, the day they were commissioning Gosi Water, some 2 months ago, he said, very soon,
the resort
will also come back to life. Maybe not as a sort of government injecting fund, but as a matter of partnership with the private sector that will take over.
I was going to ask you.
It's about planning.
I was going to ask you, CPS, you see, government's focus on the tourism sector. We're a potential tourism destination, Ekiti State, because of the things we have and all that. This government, the government of JKR, during the first comment, left no one in doubt as we resolve to develop that sector. Was even thinking of a tourism corridor, the Tabule, your area and all that, the big catfish and stuff. But the whole thing was truncated. Now, where do we go from here? Because when you look at the kind of attention being focused on tourism, even now, how is it going to take shape? To materialize. Government is so particular. We have a commissioner. We have a DG, in charge of the bureau and so many things. So, what should we be expecting in the not too distant future?
What we're expecting is that we're going to tap into that tourism potential to bring business about. But I think the thinking of government is that sometimes government also have to review what you have done. I've injected close to 2 billion into this resort, and within 4 years of leaving the government, everything went to ruin. Are you ready to inject another 2 billion, 3 billion, and maybe another change of government, and it goes back to ruin? So sometimes government is also about reflection. It's about how to strategize, and that's why the idea is that will it not be better? Imagine after the local refinery repackaged Ikogo's in 2012. Imagine if it had been handed over to the private sector to run, which was its original plan anyway. But what we're trying to do then was to repackage it, make it attractive to global tourism investors, then hand it over to them. I'm already in talk with some people there, South African, from Europe, who were ready to say, we'll buy it off, we'll escalate it, we'll scale it up, because that was just a scale. They could scale it up. In fact, they were planning to bring a 4-star hotel there.
Okay.
You call it, we had about 110 rooms then. The facility had about 110 rooms. And even at that 110 rooms, NMMA 2013 was held in the Ikogo City. NMMA. ICANN had brought his own conference. NBA had brought his own conference. American embassy had come for 2 or 3 times for seminars, 1 time for holiday.
Wow.
So you can imagine it was already on the global map, global tourism map. So all you needed to do that, so people, and that's all we needed at that point to attract investors. And they were already coming. Then the government left. Then within 4 years, it went on that. So is the government ready to ingest such fund, especially with scarce resources? Will you be ready? We'll be reluctant. So we're looking at, okay, why can't a private investor come in and take it at this level, and government just provide the enabling environment, the backing, okay, which would be a better option, which means government is not spending so much,
any money,
but it's getting the value.
Okay.
The place is still a place of destination of choice for people who are looking for tourism. Okay. Employment is also generated because they're still going to employ our citizens. Because you talked about employment the other time.
Yes.
That how do we intend to bring it about? All these things that ADB is going to fund and several other projects. Don't forget ADB is funding this. World Bank is also funding our rural project, where we intend to tar these 500 rural routes. And they are purely rural routes that lead to farmsteads. So we want to be able to link the farmsteads together so that people can move their farm product from one point to the market. So there is a 500-kilometer rural route project that World Bank is partnering the state over. This is different from every other thing. So when there is massive construction of roads, when there is massive infrastructure activities going on in terms of construction of airport, of non-zone and things like that, money will be spent, work will come up. And when all those things are realized, it also attracts investors, attracts investment, attracts jobs. Because people will build money in a growing economy. When you have airports, pilots will fly down, airlines will fly down. As we're saying, it's going to be a cargo airport. Does not mean that some planes cannot still land there. Okay. But the focus is on cargo. But the focus is on cargo. Okay. So we still have traffic, you still have employment at the airport, you still have employment in the various processing zones. Because when you're doing processing zone, you're actually bringing in big time players in agribusiness.
Yes.
The Zengov of this world, you're bringing them into
the customs will be coming in here.
So there's job opportunities, there is exposure, there is expansion, and it's going to be prosperity. So the idea is that let's even industrialize the state, and let's share that toga of civil service state. Let's industrialize. Let our children be able to say, I have options. I don't want to go to civil service. Let me be private sector.
Yes, well, on the final note, because we're being told that time is almost up, this is a question you have a right not to answer, but I'm going to invoke the Freedom of Information Act, CPSR. The fact that Mr. Governor's profile is rising on a daily basis, and there's no smoke without fire. Now, the man is being touted or being tipped to probably be the man to do the Magic Com 2023, eyeing the presidency. How is this really true? Because anything worth doing is worth doing well, and if it's actually true, then I think as an Ekiti man, first and foremost, we should look in that direction.
To the best of my knowledge, Mr. Governor's focus is on the assignment at hand. Now.
Okay.
And being somebody who likes to excel in whatever he does, and to me that's what explains his rising profile.
He might be innocently for that.
Just like to excel in whatever he does. If he does not believe in anything, he does not put his hand into it. And if you say, I'm going to do this, he wants to deliver the best. Go and check the roads that Dr. Fayemi built some 6, 7, 8 years ago. They are still enjoying. Very much strong, better than the one that were built 3 years ago. So whatever he wants to do, he goes for the best. Look at the schools. Look at the Operation Innovator schools. Look at all the schools that are renovated under County 5 in 2012. They're standing still there. Those that are never innovated, go and look at them. So he's a man of honor, he's a man of excellence. So that to me explains why whatever he does it very well. So when he's leading Ekiti State, he will do his best to lead properly. When he's talking about development, he does his best to lead properly. He's found himself as chairman of Governors Forum. I can tell you he's going to make a mark of difference. Yes, having chairman of Governors Forum, this will be a special tenure.
All right,
and that's why people are now saying, okay, maybe he should be given a higher responsibility, but everything is in the hands of God. But as a president, he's focused on Ekiti State.
Now, about abandoned projects in Ekiti, you also spoke about it yesterday, and one that's...
But you have seen work going on.
Yeah. Now, we're talking about now I'm going to talk about the Civic Center, because a lot of us are quite expectant. And
you want to start watching?
Oh, yes. We need to let our kids know, going to ShopRite, going to the cinemas.
Let me tell you something.
It's not just about...
Let me tell you something funny. My kids were around for the last holiday.
Yeah.
And one of their big uncles wanted to take them and said he was taking them to Akure to go and watch it.
That is it.
I said, no.
We had to find anywhere to take the kids.
My heart bled that day.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Where they can take a walk down to
just there.
But he has promised.
But now, by the grace
December,
of God, that will be delivered before the end of the year.
Oh, that will be.
And our kids can now go there.
Oh, yeah.
The Hado can go to her gallery.
Yeah.
There will be a shopping mall. There will be office spaces.
A one-stop
place. I mean,
Secretary, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure as usual. But on the final note, we also want to say that we'll be very, very obliged if Mr. Governor could also wave his magic wand here at the broadcasting service.
We have started.
Jolly good.
They have put some money for your organization to do a facelift.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Governor.
Thank you so much. I'm
surprised you don't know that.
Thank you, Mr. Governor.
You know what you need to know. It's a different strata of this thing. But it's good news, it's cherry news for all of us. And we're very, very grateful. Let us also thank you because we know that you have a listening ear and you're forever, passing on our needs and demands to Mr. Governor.
Thank you very much.
It's a bit of a pleasure. Let me also thank our dear brother and colleague, Mr. Borisha, the SSA to Mr. Governor on social media, who is on the entourage of the Secretary of the studio this morning. It's been a pleasure having you in the studio as well. Thank you for coming.